O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News for Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. Stand up for your country. The week rolls on by. I hope you saw the Veterans Day Generals special on News Nation last night. It was really good. I'll be on News Nation at 8 tonight with the three Americans, Cuomo, Stephen A. Smith, and me, your humble correspondent. That should be a lot of stuff in the wind. So that should be a good one. And then yesterday I did a podcast with Dana Carvey and David Spade, both of whom I like. You got to see this. And you go to BillO'Reilly.com. All the podcasts we did, Howie Mandel and Maher and all that stuff, it's all there for you. And you just click and do whatever they do over there. I don't even know. But we try to make it easy on BillO'Reilly.com. But now I'm here to deliver news analysis directly to you. And here we go. The Talking Points Memo is the economy. How are you doing? Okay. So the battle for power in America hinges on how you're doing. If Americans are doing well on November 3rd, 2026, the midterms, then Trump will retain his power, control over the House and the Senate. If the economy is not doing well, the Democrats will make gains. That is the truth. All right? No excuses, no looking back. It's Biden's fault. None of that's going to matter. It's how much money you have and how comfortable you are in your day-to-day life. Now, the Democrats are already telling the world that the U.S. economy is terrible. Roll it.
Trump's economy sucks. Last month, the jobs report was so bad that Donald Trump felt compelled to fire the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics to distract from how bad the report was.
That's just a lie. So unemployment right now, last month, 4.3%. When Trump took office, it was 4.0%. So it ticked up 0.3, which is nothing. Nothing. If you want a job, you can get a job. Maybe not the perfect job, but there's plenty of jobs. So Lou, as usual, is misleading whoever listens to him, and I think that's only his wife and maybe his mom. Okay. Nevertheless, the Democrats and the corporate media that supports the Democratic Party is pounding that the economy is terrible. So, Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, goes on MSNBC to try to counter this. Go.
So you don't believe that all the people who went to vote last Tuesday on the issue of affordability, my rent's too high, I can't afford to buy a house, groceries are too expensive, you think they're just misperceiving what's happening in their lives?
I think that that we inherited an affordability crisis. We have slowed the price increases down, and they are going to continue to slow down, and that real working class wages will go up, and that will address the affordability issue. And, I think this is what Democrats are afraid to do. They've gone to the courts to try to stop President Trump and this great economy.
So he's talking about the tariffs, of course. Now, that's a hope. It's not a policy. The Treasury Secretary hopes that things will improve for all Americans. And I hope that too. I'm not for political reasons, but I want you to be prosperous. Okay, let's look at the facts as they stand now. Oh, food. All right, we all have to eat. And since President Trump took office, overall grocery prices are up 1%. That's it. So 4 years of Biden, 1 year of Trump, a little less, up 1%. Certainly that's flat, what they would call flat. Bacon is up 5%. So if you're a big bacon person, you pay a little bit more, but not a lot. Ground beef, steak thing, that's up 12%. That's a lot. So the steak people, the beef people, they got to pay more. How about eggs? Spaghetti and eggs down. Eggs are down 16% since Trump took office. All right, spaghetti and macaroni down 12%. Those are significant declines in food. Boneless chicken up 2%. Chicken is Americans' favorite meal. Did you know that? Chicken. Up 2. That's flat. Okay. How about utilities? Home heating, air conditioning, up 11%. That's kind of disturbing. That's that can hurt you. Gas at the pump, this is the national average now, down 1%. But here's the scandal. Okay? The real scandal's coming up. This is not great, but if you get Obamacare, that means you're a lower wage earner, it's down 14%, which is good. Okay? But if you're working in a corporation, family of 4, your health insurance is up 7%. That's not good. And health insurance is a problem. We've got to redefine it in Congress, but the Republicans should be leading the way to redefine how this is doled out. Here's the worst. Insurance. Home insurance across the country up an average of 38% since Donald Trump took office. Auto insurance up 15% on average. That's where people are getting hammered. Right there. Now, insurance is a state situation. States run the insurance. But I'm telling you, President Trump's got to get involved with this. You got to, because this can bankrupt you. That's an enormous jump. And the reason is that the insurance companies are paying for the storms and all that, the hurricanes, the fires, and then they pass the cost on to all of us if you live in Maine, if there's a hurricane in Florida. The Allstate and the Gecko and all these people, they just slap it on there. I'm telling you, that's got to be dealt with. So if you add it all up unemotionally, economy, this cost of living in America could be lower, should be lower, but it's not a disaster. But that's not the way the voters are seeing it. Finally, home mortgage rates, you want to buy a house, under Trump today, 6.22%. When Biden left office, 6.85%. So home buying more affordable today. Do you know any of this? Because the media doesn't report it. Won't report anything that's favorable to the Republican administration. Summing up, I don't know how it's going to go. But by April of this year, if people feel better about their financial situations, the Republicans will probably hold. If they feel worse, That's a memo. Average consumer debt, $23,000. The last figures. That does not count your mortgage. Now, that's not crazy debt, $23,000. And that's loans, mostly, credit cards. But you got to watch it. You don't want to live your life in debt. The Cross Generations analyze non-mortgage debt in the urban areas, not the country. It's much cheaper to live in the country, okay? Is $19,000, down from $25,000. Do you know that? I did not know that. In the urban centers, when Biden walked out the door, the debt was $25,000 a head. Under Trump, it's $19,000. That's pretty good. The Trump administration's got to get that stuff out. Imagine getting your medication from a pharmacy that actually makes your life easier. No more tracking down a doctor or waiting in line. All Family Pharmacy handles it all for you. Consultations, prescriptions, fulfillment, and shipping. As we head into the holidays, fall allergies, sinus infections, cold and flu are all around us. Now's the time to stay ahead. All Family Pharmacy is by your side, helping you prepare with your meds for the entire family. From antibiotics to antivirals and ivermectin to blood pressure meds and more. Whether it's for daily use, emergencies, or trusted off-label options, they make it simple. Licensed doctors review every order for safety, and everything ships right to your door. So please visit allfamilypharmacy.com/bill. Use code BILL10 to save 10%. Again, that's allfamilypharmacy.com/bill, code BILL10. Joining us now is one of the most astute economists that I know. His name is Alexander Green. You know him because we have an association with the Oxford Club, and that's where he works. They are a paid sponsor for the No Spin News, and I have been with them for 3 decades myself, and they didn't know me. I think they thought I was O'Reilly Auto Parts when I bought my first subscription. But I stay with them because they made me some money. And now it's a pretty good stock picker, but it's a tough game now, as you know. So Alex, you got a book out. I want everybody to look at it. It's called The American Dream, Why It's Still Alive and How to Achieve It. The American Dream, Why It's Still Alive and How to Achieve It. But here in New York City, they just elected a communist mayor, and most of the people who voted for the communist mayor are under 40 years old, and they don't believe in the American dream any longer. Why has that happened?
Well, it's a good question, Bill. I wrote the book. I started a year ago when I read the polls that showed 2/3 of Americans no longer believe the American dream is attainable. And since then, it's gotten even worse. Now, 70% of Americans don't believe that the American dream is achievable. And a lot of it has to do with what you mentioned, the negativity, relentless negativity of the mainstream media, and of course, what social media is even worse. And what they're doing with Mamdani is they seem to believe that the American dream is not an achievement, but some kind of an entitlement, that you can go to the government office and pick up your American dream. It doesn't work that way. And you know, the funny thing is, Bill, when I was a kid, everything was free. The meals were free. My toys were free. The parties were free. And all that meant was that somebody else was paying for it. Nothing is free. And when Mamdani offers all this free stuff, free education, free healthcare, free childcare, he's really just saying that somebody else is going to pay for it. And I think a lot of young people who struggle, I struggled when I was young, I'm sure you did too, they want someone to help them out. But the politicians are not the answer to your problems. You live the American dream by working, living within your means, saving regularly, investing those savings at higher levels of return, and then letting it compound over a period of time. And that's how you afford to live the life of your dreams.
Yeah, but that's not taught in public schools.
No, it's not. It's not taught. In fact,
so if you go through the public school system, you are never going to hear how to achieve the so-called American dream. There are no classes on it. Most of the teachers don't even believe it. And then if you come home and your parents are, not doing very well, struggling, then you get cynical and say this whole system is fixed for the rich. This is what Bernie Sanders peddles. Right. And I can't succeed. Yeah. How do you persuade people who believe that they are wrong?
You begin by telling them the truth. When they're taught in school, especially in college, that capitalism, free markets is all about greed and selfishness and exploitation, all it takes is 1 minute of plain talk to dispel these notions.
Well, who's going to do that, though? You see that?
Well,
it's a trap.
I
know you do, and I do, and there are voices that are saying this is what it is. But they seem to be outnumbered, Alex, by the people, particularly the teachers' unions,
Right.
that are so far left. They're telling the urchins, hey, we got to go socialism because the capitalists are greedy and look at this, that, and the other thing. I don't know how to overcome that.
Yeah, well, it starts with realizing that socialism has been tried multiple times. It's never worked anywhere, any place, at any time. Capitalism means all it means is you can have anything you want if you just provide enough other people what they want. That's why every time you walk into a store, you hear, "How may I help you?" And when they leave, you hear two thank yous. You say thank you because you want the merchandise more than the money. The merchant says thank you because they want the money more than the merchandise. And really, the capitalist system is the greatest anti-poverty program and wealth creator of all time. And you talk about what the media reports. What they don't report is we live in the most meritocratic nation on earth at the greatest time in history to be alive. The human lifespan has more than doubled in the last 100 years. Our standards of living have never been higher. Educational attainment in this country has never been greater. More people with a high school diploma, college diploma, advanced degrees. Air and water quality has been improving for decades. The U.S. household income and net worth is at all-time record highs. The stock market is at a record high. How, if the economy is terrible, is the stock market at an all-time high? Is everybody just delusional except Democrats who are running for office?
Well, I mean, it's a look ahead, though, on some of them with AI coming in and Bitcoin and all of this. So the stock market, I don't think is a real good indicator of how people live day to day. I do think it's an elevator to wealth, but boy, you got to be careful on that. So the American dream to me, and I don't know if it coincides, I'm halfway through your book with you, is independence.
Right.
And you're right. When I got out of Boston University with a master's degree in broadcast journalism, I had zero money, nothing. I had to borrow to put gas in my car to drive from Boston to Scranton, Pennsylvania, where I got a job that paid me barely minimum wage, but I was happy to be able to start, and I worked my way up. It took me 10 years to buy my first property, which was a condominium by Giant Stadium in New Jersey. But I saved for it. I wasn't looking for somebody to give me rent control or this or that. I just saved my money. And then I was successful in my career. I worked extremely hard, as you know, and you did the same, and then built up where I can live very comfortably and protect myself from the evils of the world because I have resources. That's the American dream to me. Am I missing something?
No, that's exactly the American dream. And I think a lot of these young people, Bill, they can't do exactly what they want, and so they don't work. When I was young, I thought, not what do I want to do, but who needs something done that I might be able to do for them. It's about putting yourself in service to other people's, other companies. And eventually you gain the skills to do the kind of jobs you want and earn the kind of income you want and live the kind of life you want. But when you're starting out, the idea of following your dreams initially, no, you need experience, you need job skills, and to get ahead, you have to have those things in order to live the kind of life you want to live. So I started the same way, Bill. No money, no great skills, no connections, no great prospects, but I always believed that I would somehow achieve the American dream, and that's what's so tragic about this 70% figure. Don't even believe it's attainable. I've never wasted a minute working toward any goal I didn't believe was realistic. And so when these kids, and it is mostly kids who are the most pessimistic, these young people are so pessimistic about their outlook, it really is it's self-defeating, because if you don't believe that the American dream even exists, why would you strive to achieve it?
Okay. The advantage that you and I had, and I'm a little bit older than you, is that our parents mine were the Depression as children, and then World War II, where sacrifice and deprivation and realistic expectations, that's the key, were what was taught. So they didn't have this, well, how come I don't have a boat? How come I don't have a Mercedes? How come I'm not living in Park Avenue? I'm living in Levittown, and my parents are satisfied with Levittown, okay? Because they were scared there'd be another 1929 stock crash. So they didn't take a lot of chances. Now, that was the downside of the expectations that were minimal, all right? That's where we grew up. Now, a lot of parents cater to these kids. They get everything they want, as you pointed out, free everything, and they're coddled. And then all of a sudden they're out in the real world going, where's my $250,000 job?
Right.
Because they weren't taught that you got to sacrifice, you got to work hard. It takes a while. That's what the system is. I think that's the key to it.
Well, they're comparing themselves to people on social media. They're looking at highlight reels of other people's lives and not realizing that their own situations are going to change. The difference between my net worth in my 20s and my net worth today is night and day. There's huge economic inequality between me in my 20s and me today. And that's the norm. You work, you save, you invest, you compound the money instead of spending it along the way, and you end up with the kind of net worth that can allow you to have the assets to live the life that you dreamed of living.
But it's got to be a strategy, and again, that strategy is not taught enough. Last question, because you are a stock picker. I'm a little worried about this market now because it's all-time high. And you got all the speculative money coming in with the AI stuff. All these companies are roaring. I've seen it before. And I got stops at your, stop is I put on a stock that has profit for me, 20%, something like that, down. And automatically, when the stock goes down, it hits it, it sells. So I'm protected in that way. But I'm not buying right now, Alex. I'm cautious. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong, Bill, but by every objective measure, the market is very expensive right now. The S&P 500 sells at about 24 times earnings versus a long-term 16 times earnings. There is kind of an AI craze going on. Some companies are going to prosper, other companies are going to fail. And there's the craziness in meme stocks and crypto and whatever shows that a lot of animal spirits are on the loose. And it's inevitable. We will have a correction and another bear market at some point. And it's okay if you're diversified and you're asset allocated and you run trailing stops, as you mentioned, you're protected. But trees don't grow to the sky, and the stock market's not going to continue going up like it has been forever. So we've enjoyed some big gains this year, but I think it's going to get choppier and a little tougher going forward.
All right, Alex. The book is The American Dream, Why It's Still Alive and How to Achieve It. Alex Green, you can get it anywhere. And we appreciate it, Alex. We'll talk again soon. And if you get any inkling of something that you don't like in the economic system, let us know right away, okay?
I'll give you a call. Thanks for having me on again.
Okay, Alex, sure. Let's face it, the U.S. economy is under stress. National debt rising, trade war shaking the markets. And meanwhile, China is dumping the dollar and stockpiling gold. That's why I protected my savings with physical gold and silver through the only dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. And you can do this. Get precious metals delivered to your door or place in a tax-advantaged gold IRA. They'll even help you roll over your existing IRA or 401k, tax and penalty free. With billions in precious metals delivered, thousands of five-star reviews, and an A+ from the Better Business Bureau, you can trust American Hartford Gold as I do. Please call 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Again, that's 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. The cost of everything still rising, and many of us are relying on credit cards to cover essentials. If that debt is piling up, you're not alone. Americans now owe more than $1 trillion in credit card debt. You may have thought about calling American Financing, but hesitated because you don't want to lose your low mortgage rate. Well, good news, they created the Smart Equity Loan. It lets you tap into your home's equity without touching your current mortgage. Unlike a home equity line of credit, this loan has a fixed interest rate and one predictable monthly payment. No upfront or hidden fees. It only takes 10 minutes to get started, so please call 888-462-9557 or visit americanfinancing.net/bill. Okay, so I went to see Nuremberg last night, the movie. Russell Crowe and Rami Malek, I think that's how you say his name, Rami Malek. And the acting was very good. Production values were terrible. The lighting in that movie is awful. Anyway, Russell Crowe is going to get nominated for Academy Award for playing the heinous Hermann Goering, second in command to Hitler. Roll the tape.
Hermann Goering?
I am Reich Marshal Hermann Goering.
Hermann Wilhelm Goering, you are hereby charged by the United States of America, the French Republic, United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics on the following 4 counts: crimes against peace, war crimes, crimes against humanity, and of a common plan or conspiracy to commit those crimes.
The Goering was found guilty, sentenced to hang, and somebody slipped him a cyanide capsule, American soldier. Slipped him a cyanide capsule, and he killed himself. But Crowe was lights out. All right, can't really recommend the movie that much, but if you're interested in that period of history, which of course I am, and you like good acting, you might consider it. All right, thank you for watching and listening to the No Spin News. I'm Bill O'Reilly. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today.